including our next presentation. And here, you've been enjoying him all cruise long, his 44-year legacy with the Walt Disney Company, all of his incredible stories and inspirational moments, and today he's here with one final presentation for all of you. So to take us through Disney around the world, please welcome Rob Morton.
Okay, now I've been trying to warn you, this is going to be different. And it's going to be different for a couple of reasons. Instead of okay, there's a few stories in here, but we're going to go around the world to all of the international locations, and I just, as a reminder, kind of the dates that we've been, and we're looking forward to updating Disneyland Paris next week. No, is it next? Yeah, I guess it's still next week. I was hoping I could say it's this week, but we didn't quite get there. So we're going to go around these international destinations, and because they are relatively current for Wendy and me, it's an opportunity for us to share a little bit about what did we find most unique, and I'm trying to keep that as a thread, and we'll see how that works. But I'm going to warn you, I've got twice as many slides as I did in any other presentation. This thing is going to move fast, and I'm going to try to move fast without talking really fast quickly, but we'll see how that plays out. So as we go, we're going to start off, and we're going to do it in order of our most recent visits. So the first one we did in 2023 was Disneyland Paris. I shared some stories about being there in the early years, and from the opening, taking Wendy back the next year, and then I've just been back a lot for work, and we actually took our sons there for the first time in 2016. They were still struggling at that time, and I walked in excited to show them all of these things that I had been a part of, and then I walked out that day going, oh. Trust me, it is. They were getting ready for their 25th anniversary at the time, so it was just so much construction and things that I wanted to show them were not available, and it was disappointing. Now, one of the consistent things about each of the parks that we're going to visit is their proximity to the local city, the city that bears a name, in this case Disneyland Paris. And I'm going to just do a quick Google Maps snapshot. You have the center of Paris, they put the Eiffel Tower on, that's very sweet. You see Disneyland Paris right over here on the right-hand side. It is about 30-40 minutes by train to the center of Paris. So the beauty of it is you can stay at Disneyland or you can stay in Paris and visit one or the other, and it just works out very, very, very well. Disneyland Paris itself has 6 hotels on site that are all walkable to the park, walkable to the Disney Village, which is their shopping and entertainment, kind of like a downtown Disney, much smaller than that, or Disney Springs, much, much, much smaller than Disney Springs. But you'll get the idea there. There's a train that parks at the front entrance, essentially, and it is the train that goes direct to Paris. There is also the high-speed Eurostar. You can get a train from there and go to London. I think you got to change routes, but it's very convenient. When you arrive, the train station is in a central area between the Disney Village, which is a gateway also to the 5 resorts, and the 2 theme parks that are they're right next to each other, kind of like Disneyland and Disney California Adventure are right next to each other. So it's very easy, everything's walkable. Before you go through the security screening that you would expect, this area right here is very unique. You've arrived at Disneyland, but this area is open to the public. So, for example, you will encounter a lot of people with entrepreneurial spirit, meaning you're going to have a lot of street vendors, and you can pick up your miniature Eiffel Tower, and all of that is right there. And that can be a little bit surprising, but trust me, it changes as soon as you go through security. You've got the 2 options. You can go to the parks, or you can go to the Disney Village, and you'll see they've got, there's some shopping, there's restaurants, great places to go eat, have a drink that's outside of the park here. You'll notice one of them, they have brands like the Earl of Sandwich, and here's where I've just got to stop. And we've introduced Wendy, and we talked that she worked at Disney for 22 years. A big part of her work life is that she's a professional food stylist. So she makes food look really good so photographers could take pictures of it. And we were so surprised that we went into the Paris Earl of Sandwich, and all of the menu pictures, she had styled those so that somebody could take a picture. So she is an international food stylist. All right. On the other side, once you go in, there's an open area, the Disneyland Hotel. This is the first time we had a hotel that was right at the front entrance of the park, and it really is. And I always try to figure out, well, what do they see at night when they're looking in the park? I've never had the opportunity to figure that out. But this is a nice open area, and then kind of behind the photograph here is the Disney Studios theme park. The entrance, we were there last on the 30th anniversary, and so it was very fancy. The train station up above, and then you walk into Main Street. Now, one of the things, and again, back in 2016, this was just covered by a scrim, so you couldn't even see it. That was the, hey, welcome to Disneyland Paris. This is gonna be tough. Inside, I love that you have the uniqueness. Notice that it is a brick street. And so very much, even more from that idea of storybook realism, it puts you in another time and place, and you have the opportunity to stroll down Main Street, and it just really feels authentic when you do that. And the entire time you're looking down at the end, and you're getting closer and closer to that castle. That is very fanciful. Again, we've got real castles nearby, and but a very unique castle. This is Sleeping Beauty Castle. They refer to that in French that I can't speak, so let's just go with Sleeping Beauty Castle. And in addition to its style, it has a very, very unique feature that is one of a kind. We don't have it anywhere else. But if you step over to the side, you can enter into the dragon's lair and visit the dragon that is under the castle. And you can fit, this is an audio animatronic. It moves and it wakes up, and it doesn't like to wake up, and it gets irritated. But you can stay there for 15, 20 minutes and just have a wonderful time. It's great to see that added detail, but it's kind of a surprise. A lot of people don't know about it, and I've talked to countless people who went. They spent a whole day there, and they didn't see the dragon. This is an attraction. It should cost extra. It doesn't. All right, yeah. Then, of course, we have to focus on the things that are most important to Rob, and you head over, and their Pirates of the Caribbean is fantastic. It is a traditional Pirates of the Caribbean. So there are some similarities to Walt Disney World and Disneyland, but some other elements that are just completely unique. When you see the bombardment scene for the first time, you are overlooking it, and you're up high, like at fort level, and you're looking down and you see it like it's offshore, and it is fantastic. They have two audio animatronic pirate figures that are sword fighting each other. And so, again, very unique. I'm pretty sure they had updated this one also with Jack Sparrow and so forth, but again, in a very subtle way that doesn't take away from its original style. Nearby, and I said that, well, you know, we've got haunted mansion type attractions and all of the parks with the castle, but they're all in different lands. Don't ask me why. But in Frontierland is Phantom Manor. And Phantom Manor, I think it looks like the house from the movie Psycho. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not telling you anything new here. But it's a darker version of a haunted mansion. It's a very macabre kind of a feeling as you go through, but it also has, like, it culminates in the graveyard at the end when everybody's celebrating. It's Old West, and it's drinking ghosts drinking in the saloon and everything, and it's so much fun. And then as you are exiting the Phantom Manor, you look across and you see their Big Thunder Mountain, which is very unique in that it is on an island, and you go under the water to get to it, you ride it, and you go under the water to get back, and makes it, again, could it be like any other Big Thunder? Similar, but that unique element makes it very, very special. Unfortunately, if you're going next week, it is closed for refurbishment, so all that means is you're just going to have to go back again. And Another roller coaster type attraction that they have there is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril. This is my cousin Linda. I had to fit her in somewhere because she's nuts. And you see, you're on like these little mine cars, and it's like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and then it does have a 360-degree loop. It's not a long coaster, but it's a fun, well-themed, and that's their connection to Indiana Jones. When you go over into Tomorrowland, they have a very unique Space Mountain. This is like Jules Verne Central here, kind of steampunk style. And on the right-hand side, as you go up the side, you are launched like you were being shot out of a gun. And it takes you in, and you go straight into an inversion. So you're not expecting, oh, it's Space Mountain. It's going to be not very thrilling. No, it's thrilling. It's rock and roller coaster intensity. The caution I would give you about this Space Mountain, at least in our experience, is you'll go in and you get the full shoulder harness, everything. It's got a lot of side motion. So if you're not like holding your head still, you get out and you may feel a little bit like you've been in a, one of those. So just be cautious. When we think about, so there's two parks, and obviously there are some other attractions. It's a Small World there was one of the first to have Disney characters integrated into it. I'm going to talk more about that a little bit later as we get to another location. But again, when you go there, language is not a problem. You'll be able to, everything is in French, English, and most people speak multiple languages because they're not American. So, but it's very, very easy. The signs are good. The signage is fine. You'll be able to make your way around it. And I'm I've talked to quite a few folks that are going to be there. We've even found a couple that we'll see when we're there. Again, we're going to be in the park on the 21st. If you're planning to be there that day, let us know or look for us. We'll be there pretty much all day. So across the way, the Disney Studios Park, it's going through a lot of updates right now. And I understand the whole main entrance has just been redesigned, and we're looking forward to seeing that. So how you go into it will be different. It bears some resemblance in style and some of the Art Deco from the original Disney Studios in California. You'll get a little bit of a feel for the Disney MGM or Disney Hollywood Studios. They do still have a tram tour there. With 3 minutes of, oh my gosh, we're at Catastrophe Canyon. So if you remember that experience, I think it is still operating there. The rest of it is a little outdated. They do have a Tower of Terror that is themed to Twilight Zone, which is unique in an international park. So essentially the same as what you would have in Orlando. And then they have Rock and Roller Coaster, which is now an adventures theme. But two of the other unique things they have there, Crush's Coaster, where you ride with Crush on the Eastern Australian Current and a roller coaster. And it's pretty much a family style coaster. The challenge is that, man, I don't know that it has a whole lot of capacity, so the wait time tends to be pretty high. But I've been watching the app, because we're going next week, and it looks like the wait times are pretty good. I saw a wait time of 40 minutes. I'm okay with that. And so a lot of fun, very, very unique. You go through the, as you're going through the ocean, you got jellyfish all over you and everything. It's just not something that we have anywhere else. As you know, and we have the Web Slinger attraction, the Spider-Man at Disney's California Adventure. This one we call it's the Spider-Man Web Adventure. Same thing, but a lot of fun. How many of you have done that one? Okay, is it just me, or did you walk out of there tired? Okay, it's like it's the best workout you could possibly have. I don't want you to be disappointed because this is the only slide I have of Disney Hollywood Studios, or not Hollywood Studios, but Disney Studios Paris. It just, we did take a lot of pictures there on our last trip, and I know there's a lot of updates. So even in our attempt to be current, it wouldn't be that current. There is a little Toy Story land, and then also the original Ratatouille attraction is there. Same attraction that you would find at the France Pavilion at Epcot and World Showcase. However, what's really cool about it is when you exit and you've been immersed, seeing all of that food and the smells and that experience that you've had, there's actually a restaurant right there. A sit-down restaurant where you can go. I'm assuming you can order ratatouille, but it is that much fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I will update this and be more. So one of the things you're going to find, we're going to move extra quickly through the first couple, but when we get to Japan, we're going to spend longer there. 2 reasons. It's our favorite, and it's the only one we've been to since somebody told me I was doing this. So we took a lot more, well, Wendy took a lot more pictures. So I also want to say all the pictures that are good, Wendy took. If they're not so good, all right. So again, being there dozens of times, it's still, because of its look and its feel, the atmosphere that it creates, my favorite Disney park with a castle right now. But when I say it's my favorite, it's not like off the charts. It's just got a very special place in my heart, and I will always look forward to going back and reliving all of the memories that I've had the fortune to have there. So now we're going to go to Asia. We're going to spend the rest of our time in Asia. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about, I've talked to quite a few people that are interested in, well, is it possible, yes, to go to all of the parks in Asia on one trip? I would suggest to you that it's not just possible, it's pretty simple to do. And you just need to allow enough time, because one of the challenges that we have is, oh, I'm going to go to Disney here, I'm going to go to Disney in Shanghai, and I'm going to go to Disney in Japan. Because you're so close to the cities, and so you're so close to other amazing sights to see, I just challenge you, don't do yourself, cut yourself too short on your time. You could probably do in a little over a week, you could go to all the Disneys, but you'd miss out on going into the cities. You'd miss out on doing some of the other things that make each of these locations very unique. And so I would just encourage you, plan a little bit in advance, get as much time as you possibly can so that you can immerse yourself in each of these. So in Hong Kong, I shared previously, the park itself is located on reclaimed land, and it's on Lantau Island, and the actual Hong Kong city over here, you've got the traditional Hong Kong, really where it says Hong Kong is more Kowloon across there. But you can go there, again, 30 minutes by train. They have a themed train that goes from Disneyland and will take you over to, you'll get to Tung Chung. And then from there, it's a quick train ride into the city. On site, they have 3 hotels. And it's a Disneyland hotel that looks like the Grand Floridian. I remember taking one of my directors there one time, and we pull in, and I'm all excited to show him everything about Hong Kong. And he goes, "It's the Grand Floridian." You need a better attitude, dude. There's an adventure hotel that is very similar to the Animal Kingdom Lodge. It's like that's the feel that you get going in, and then they also have a Hollywood hotel, which is Art Deco, and again, like Hollywood Studios, like that period of time. And I've stayed at the Hollywood, I've stayed at the Disneyland multiple times, and the beauty of it is you're right there. Everything is walkable. There are buses. You can get, same thing in Paris. You can walk, or there's bus options if you so choose. I talked a little bit about this beautiful walkway when you're going from the hotels to the park and back, and it is so peaceful. It originally had Chinese music playing when I first visited. I like that. Now it's Disney music, and you've got Disney character banners, and you've got hidden Mickeys into the ironwork and all of this stuff. But it is a lovely, lovely walk. But one thing you're going to discover here unlike anywhere else, is there is no shopping, dining, downtown Disney kind of a thing. All of that shopping is either at the hotels or in the park. So you're gonna go around and you're gonna feel like you're missing something. My understanding is that there's a lot of space here to ultimately construct something, so I look forward to seeing what that's going to be. And but when you're going around, it's calming, and it's that idea of that feng shui, positive energy. By the time you get to the park, you're relaxed. The train station actually parks right at the front, and it is very, very convenient. There's buses and there's taxis everywhere. It is just a very simple way to get around. When you're coming from the airport, it's literally 15 minutes. And I used to time it. It's like how much time from when I get in the taxi to when I'm in the hotel, and it was generally about that time. And I think it was $15. Not bad. When you get into Disneyland in Hong Kong, it really, at least especially originally when it had the original castle, you walked in and it felt like the original Disneyland. And you've got things like the cannons in Town Square. It looked like the most traditional town square you can imagine. And the castle originally, was this, and they put a hat on. And because of that, now you walk in and this is, you feel like you've arrived at something very special, and it really is. And now it's almost like the castle is overwhelming, but not Shanghai overwhelming, which we'll touch on in a minute. So here we don't have Pirates of the Caribbean. So where do Wendy and I go first? We go to the Jungle Cruise. Now, probably thinking, well, what about language, Rob? Well, language there, everything is in Cantonese, Mandarin, and English. All the signs, all the menus, everything, no problems at all if you only speak English. However, the Jungle Cruise has 3 queues in those 3 languages. So you can choose what language you would like to hear. Now this has worked beautifully since my first visit in like 2005, and I'm thinking, okay, this is fantastic. I love this. You go back, and even if the English wasn't pristine, it didn't matter. It worked really well. And this last time we went, it was the first thing so it may have been a staffing thing. I'm really hoping this is not their new plan, but we got on and we had a multilingual cast member. And that skipper would speak in Mandarin, and then Cantonese, and then English about everything. And the way I'm not going to do it, Wendy does this, it's a lot better. But it's like da-da-da-da-da-da in one language, and then da-da-da-da-da in another language, and then elephant. But is it worth doing? Absolutely. It's very cute. And they even have fire effects at this Jungle Cruise. So before you get off of it, then you almost burn up in the water, which is excellent. From there, it's an easy walk into Grizzly Gulch. There were 3 new when they expanded. Now, when you think about it, it's still not a big park, but they added 3 new lands. And the 3 new lands are Grizzly Gulch, Mystic Point, and then it was a Toy Story Land, a relatively small version of Toy Story Land. And so in Grizzly Gulch, you have the runaway mine cars, which at first glance looks like it could be like Big Thunder Mountain, but very different than Big Thunder Mountain. A lot of different effects, and even one of those roller coasters that when you least expect it, it goes backwards, and then fun things happen, and there's rapid launches and everything. So a very updated, modern version, but it's different enough that it needs a different name, and it's a lot of fun. Right next to that, as I shared previously, we have Mystic Manor. This is their version of a haunted mansion, and it's like Pandora's box. And the host here, the owner of here, is Lord Henry Mystic, and he has a companion that is a little monkey named Albert. Albert is very mischievous and touches things and opens things that he should not touch or open. And therefore, that's what sets all of these events, the attraction. Well, one of the other things that I really love is that Disney here embraces the legend of the society of Explorers and Adventurers, known as SEA. And so a lot of the people, characters in Disney Parks history are represented in this society. It also includes Harrison Hightower, that we'll talk a little bit about, that is in Tokyo, and it's the one on the left. And if you know Imagineers, you know who that is. Okay, I'll come back to that. And then even the owner and operator of the Jungle Navigation Company, Dr. Albert Falls. They recently, so if you're interested in this, do some research. Some of it I'm going, because I think almost to the woman on the right-hand side, I think it's Mary Oceaneering, but this is like the history with the Disney Cruise Line. And so you check it out. There's a lot of backstory. I think most of the backstory that you'll find is not backstory from Disney, but backstory from somebody else, but it's fantastic. They have a Frozen, whole land dedicated to Frozen now that we saw. It is stunning when you go into it, and a lot bigger than I expected. You see the white snow-capped mountain in the back. They have a traditional boat ride attraction. If you've been to the Frozen attraction at Epcot, it's this. But I think a little bit updated animation and so forth, but very, very similar. They have a family coaster called Wandering Odin's Sliding Sleighs. This brings efficiency to a whole new level. We timed it at 40 seconds. But it was cute, and it's fun, and the line wasn't long, and it was great. They also have what's called the Playhouse in the Woods. Now, this is one you actually have to go on the app and you reserve, and you are in a relatively small group, and you go through an experience with Anna and Elsa and Olaf, and you are exploring the elements of the earth and your personal connection to that. So you actually identify, are you more connected to fire? Are you more connected to water? Are you more connected to the earth? And it was really very, very well done. And we had the option. It was in English, as I remember, and it was fantastic. And people kept telling us to do it, and we're going, it doesn't sound like something that we would normally do, but it was really good. And then last couple of attractions here is they have an Iron Man attraction. So flight simulator technology. It's a new. I'm gonna say it's a different story than Star Tours, but the plot and the stuff that they do is very similar. So if you like Star Tours, you will love it. You'll get in. It's that type of an adventure. And then right next to it is I think it's the Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they call it Nano Battle. This is an updated, high-tech version of Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger. That's what they had originally. So again, you get to go and have a completely different experience. You get to score. You get to do it over and over again. It typically never has a long line, so you're able to go in and do it over and over and over. In its early days, this park was described as a half-day park, and I think that was a fair assessment. Now, easily you can go in, you can spend a full day there. I have never been where it has been so crowded that I didn't get to do everything that I wanted to do. So it's a great opportunity to go in and get your Disney fix in one day and be able to you not feel that you missed anything, or you say, oh my gosh, when am I going to come back to this side of the world? You really can do it all in one day. So we're going to go a little bit further north in China. So again, Hong Kong is in a special administrative region, so the entry requirements are very different than what they would be in Shanghai, which is in mainland China. So make sure that you check all of that out. The most unique part of Shanghai is that it's massive, absolutely massive. The part, you see the Pudong Airport's over on the right. It's right between that and then downtown Shanghai, and it's about 45 minutes by train to get to Shanghai. And I encourage you, if you're going to go here, then take the time to go into the city and explore that. And if you get there and you're going to go visit the Pearl Tower or other major attractions and you need a Disney fix, there's a huge Disney store right next to the Pearl Tower. So you're not going to lose out. You're not going to lose out on anything there. And even you see the Mickey planter. So we get off the train and we're going, oh my gosh, we were just on the train for 30 minutes and we're still here. At Shanghai Disney, they have 2 hotels, a Toy Story themed and a Disneyland hotel. But we've always stayed at a nearby hotel, and I think most of the ones in the direct area, they will have shuttle service that will take you to the park. So you can do that, and there are rideshare options that you have. When you get dropped off, the parking lot, whether you're in the bus or the rideshare, you're dropped off. It's still a bit of a hike. It's probably every bit a quarter of a mile, maybe even a half a mile to get to the front of the park. And the first thing you'll actually come to is Disneytown, which is downtown Disney, Disney Springs, smaller than both, but still lots of shops, lots of restaurants. Whoops. Oh, they come up again. You'll recognize some of the shops. So it's exactly what you would expect it to be. And there's a Starbucks right there for those of you who have that addiction. You're going to be in good shape. When you arrive at the front of the park, you're not greeted by a floral Mickey that you would expect. You're greeted by floral Judy because they just opened Zootopia. It's adorable. All right, more on that in a second. As I share, you go in. Everything is massive. The castle is massive. So it's the Enchanted Storybook Castle, and not only do you have the exterior views of it, there's even a boat ride that takes you through scenes from a variety of the, I'm just going to go princess stories, and then it ends up in a crystal grotto which is underneath the castle. So it's unique. They take advantage of its size, and they actually have tours where you can go up and you can walk through different levels of the castle, and they have stories and special effects that they share, and again, taking advantage of just this massive structure. It feels like it is real. It still takes advantage of forced perspective, but it's like it is so large, it's almost overwhelming. You can just sit here, and every time we walk past it, we took a picture of it because it's that significant. The first attraction that we went on was Over the Top. Yeah, you can't say enough amazing things about this Pirates of the Caribbean. It is fully based on the movie franchise that was inspired by the original attraction, but it does use a lot of video screens. Some people are getting tired of those. This is really one of the first uses of that technology, and it is fantastic. It takes you underwater, and when you're all of a sudden you're underwater and you emerge on top of the water and you're in the middle of a sea battle. I don't want to take much more away from that. It is fantastic. On our last visit, Wendy and I, retired couple, 8 times we rode this. Incredible. Now we were there, we dedicated like 2.5 days to be here. The other really amazing addition, again, is Zootopia. They have an attraction in Zootopia called, look at the light at night. It looks like you are in the movie. I've never felt anything like it. We're FaceTiming our sons from here and say, look where we are. You can't believe this experience that they've connected here. And then they have an attraction there called Zootopia Hot Pursuit, which is a combination. There a lot of audio animatronics and then a few videos to enhance it to make you feel like you're going really fast, and you do. No 3D, just integration at its finest. And we try to figure out, well, how do you compare it to other things that we have? And I kind of said, well, it's kind of like if you took Mickey's Runaway Railway and Ratatouille, the best of those, and it amped it up times 100. So therefore, basically, it's very hard to describe. But they created a whole land. There is a separate, when it's busy, you actually have to queue up to get into the land. And then you queue up to get on the attraction. But just fantastic. I think we rode this one 4 or 5 times. as well. And it was that good. We tried to videotape it once, and we convinced ourselves that we were not skilled at that. Of course, Shanghai was the first location of the Tron light cycle, and so the experience here is very similar to what you have at the Magic Kingdom now. But I remember the first time ever riding it, you get off of it, and it's just so different than anything that we had done, and fantastic. The other couple of other things is you have Buzz Lightyear, and this is called Planet Rescue, but essentially it's what we're used to as a Buzz Lightyear attraction, but they've used the latest technology. And I know they've announced that they're going to update Space Ranger Spin in the Magic Kingdom. If they do anything close to what they've done in Shanghai, it is fantastic, and you'll look forward to longer queues because it's going to be amazing. Same goes for Peter Pan's Flight. Traditional attraction, always very popular, kind of limited capacity, so it's always a long queue. But again, it shows that we take all of the animation, and we update it, and we bring it up to the latest technology, and it creates a whole new attraction type experience. And then one other area that they have there, they have Soarin'. Wendy and I, we rode every attraction. They have Seven Dwarf Mine Trains. They have the Davy Crockett Explorer Canoes that I've never ridden at the Magic Kingdom that we rode there. And so much fun that we had. And we were like little kids running around and just riding things, and then go back to Pirates, and then rode something else, and we went back to Pirates. And but just really fantastic. And then they actually have one area where you can do, it's like a climbing ropes course kind of experience. And it was closed the last time we were there. It was in refurbishment. But again, not something that we would normally have in a theme park, but we have there. And from what I understand, it's very, very popular, and that's the type of things that people love to experience when they're out together as families. They could go and have a little adventure, and then, so they climb through the mountain. You chain to a cable, but you're trekking a little bit. When I say Paris is my favorite park with a castle, this one's way up. It's just overwhelmed. And you can spend a lot of time there. It's not that I was going back and looking at the map and just seeing, okay, what are all the attractions on there? And the number of attractions isn't the significant part. It's just the sheer magnitude, and each one in and of itself is the kind of experience that you walk away and you just say, wow. And it shows that what can happen when you can take the latest that our Imagineering minds have and put the resources to it. You can create things, and it makes me very, very hopeful for what we're going to continue to see in Orlando and California with all of the updates that have been announced. It makes me very, very optimistic, because all of this is possible because we've seen it, we've done it elsewhere, and now we can do it. All right, for the next 3 hours, we're going to complete our Asia tour. And again, you can go, if you really want to just hop it, you can get to one of these and go 3 hours to the next one and 3 hours to the next one. It's very, very doable. It's like traveling to Denver from Orlando. So Tokyo Disney Resort, it is located on Tokyo Bay. So right down here, just beautiful. You look out and you can see the water, you can see the skyline of Tokyo, and downtown is about 30 to 45 minutes. It's pure straight one train downtown to Tokyo Station. Just wonderful. They have, I'm trying to think how many, I lost count of the number of resorts that they have. I think they're up to about 5 right now. And that the Oriental Land Company owns and operates. 2 of them are walkable. All of the others, you need to take a monorail. And we stay at the Hilton Tokyo Bay, so it's an official hotel operated by Hilton. And then you get on a monorail that looks like this. Now, one of the different things about the monorail, because the monorail goes from where all of our hotels were, the non-Disney hotels typically, mostly, and it stops at Disney Sea, which is a Hotel Maricosta is there. That's my one dream. If I could go back and stay at any Disney hotel in the world, that's the one I want to stay in. And then you would stop at a shopping and dining area, and then you would stop at Disneyland and then repeat. It's a little unique because the train does require a separate ticket. It's not expensive, but you have to get a ticket, or you can just tap Apple Pay and you can go in like you're using mass transit. The other beauty of its location, it doesn't happen often, but you may just wake up and look at your hotel window and see that. This is our first morning back there. It's the clearest I'd ever seen it, and I think it was the only day that we saw it. But Mount Fuji right there, ready for picture taking. Now, this resort is so unique that it requires an extra slide. They do have a shopping and dining area. It's called Ispiari. Multi-level, like 4 levels of shops and restaurants and every cuisine you can possibly imagine. They have for those of you if you're familiar with Japanese shopping, Daiso, where everything is like 100 yen, unless it's priced otherwise. But discount shop, they had just everything there, walkable to the train station, and again, not necessarily, there's a Disney store there, there's a theater there. It's not like downtown Disney per se, but it's got a similar feel, but it's just a lot of external providers for food and merchandise. It's Disney perfection 99.9% of the time. When the 0.1 happens, it's just entertaining. But it's so good, and again, you're not going to find any trash. You're not going to find a burned out light bulb. If you use their Premier Access, their version of the Lightning Lane, you're not going to go in and then wait a third of the time when you're getting on within 5 minutes. Every time. It is phenomenal how they operate these parks. The efficiency and what they do there, it is so busy, but nobody ever complains. It's just the way it is. And there are certain times of the year I've been told, I've got insider information on the best time to go, and it's in the summertime. So the good news is it'll be less busy. So I was told. The bad news is hot. Like hot. But if you can deal with Florida in the summertime, I think you'll be fine. You're good. And then here's another one. This is a surprise. They don't have. You need Wi-Fi. You need the app. You need to be able to do things. So if you have a really good data plan that's high speed, you'll probably be okay. We used our high speed data when we were in China on our last trip, so we were kind of out of luck. And they say, well, we have Wi-Fi at the front entrance. So as soon as you get in, you can like try to get Premier Access to the new attractions and so forth. What we found was that the Wi-Fi was in an area about this big. So just beware, you're gonna need access, but they don't have Wi-Fi there. Don't ask me why. And then watching people there is fantastic. It's an attraction in and of itself. You've got to really make time to do it. I'll show you an example of that in just a moment. The traditional Main Street is sheltered. So when you walk in, it has a different feel. You're in the shade, and then you have Cinderella Castle looking you're right in front, and it is Cinderella Castle. It's Cinderella Castle. Because they, at the time this was built, really wanted to replicate what was being provided, what we had at Walt Disney World. So you get a little bit closer. So it doesn't have the pink hue that we have for our 50th anniversary, but you get the idea. This is 4 hours before the parade. They sell these mats in the gift shops so the people can lay out and they get prepared and they're going to be ready to watch the parade, and they will be there all day long. when Halloween comes, they make an exception to adult costumes for 2 weeks. The costumes that the guests wear are better than the ones that we produce for our parks. It is amazing. And you get there during that time when people are celebrating Halloween. The gates open at 9, and by 9:15 the park's closed because it's full. Okay, I might be exaggerating a lot. But inside the park, you could ride anything you want because everybody's out looking at each other's costumes. They're not riding anything. And of course, our first day at Disneyland, we went and rode that. Very nice mix between what's at Disneyland, what's at Walt Disney World. We then went to the Jungle Cruise. I had mentioned earlier the best Jungle Cruise experience as a Jungle Cruise skipper that I've ever had is here. And it's Kyoko, and she was fantastic. Got a little bit of a video clip. Hopefully you'll get the feel of her here. She absolutely adorable. Okay, we have the Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Here it's called Pooh's Honey Hunt. I said, well, is that unique? Here it's unique. It's a trackless ride system. And I remember I was there when they opened it. And as you're going around, you're talking to people and you ask them if they've ridden it yet. If they'd ridden it, they did this. Because you see Tigger and you hop with Tigger, jump with Tigger. Yeah, so much fun. They have another unique attraction, and it's called It's a Small World. I didn't buy this when I saw it. I buy it now because it works. It features Groot. Now, this is one of the pre-show pictures, but in the attraction, can you find Groot? We had to ride it more than once just to count the Groots, and there were like 20. In addition to Disney characters, Marvel characters, Pixar characters, all integrated seamlessly into the Small World experience. It is fantastic. And you don't. And somebody said, "Well, how did you listen to the song?" And you're going, "What song?" Because you're so focused on what they were doing. Fantastic. And then one other real significant attraction is this was the new Beauty and the Beast. And I tried to pull a video if you're interested, or you just wait to see it. But you go in and you're riding in a teacup, and you experience the story. And at one point, you're in the ballroom, and the Beast, now the Prince, and Belle are dancing in the middle of the ballroom. These are audio animatronic characters dancing in the middle of the room, and you're circling around them, and it's the most amazing audio animatronics that we've ever seen. And then we're going to take one last stop. This we had taken this from the monorail the day before when we were going to Disneyland. Now we're going to Disney Sea. This is what it looked like. So we were encouraged to get there early. This is 3 hours before park opening. And this is only one of 2 entrances. There was all of this on the other side. But you'll notice, nobody's complaining, everybody's there. We're just happy to be getting inside, and we're just looking forward to it. Once you enter, this is what awaits you. This is their castle. And it's Volcania from the Jules Verne stories. If you look on the map, they'll also refer to it as Mysterious Island, but then in the island there's a restaurant called Volcania, so figure that one out. I shared with you before popcorn flavors, a couple more that I didn't mention. Roast beef popcorn. It was lovely. It worked. It worked as good as Groot did as well as Groot did in It's a Small World. And And it worked. Here was the line to get the garlic shrimp popcorn. Well over 30 minutes. And then I showed you the little alien mochi. This is the 9-piece that we recommend. Again, vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate, fantastic. This is their version of the Tower of Terror. This is Harrison Hightower, who collects antiquities, owns this, so it's not, again, they don't know anything about Twilight Zone and so forth over there. Portrayed by Imagineer Joe Rody. So you see his image everywhere. It's so much fun, and but there's a cursed idol that keeps appearing, and then it creates the type of experience that you would expect to have at the Tower of Terror. But even the building is very large. At night, it lights up, and it has like lightning and effects going down the side of it, and spectacular. I mentioned this is my favorite location in my favorite park anywhere. This is inside the mysterious island of Volcania. They have a boat ride that goes around multiple areas of the park on like a tramp steamer, and we'll take you through here. So here's a little bit of what that looks like. There's the journey to the center of the earth. You have to have tunnels to get to the center of the earth. So that's the mechanism that does it. You're there, you feel like you are literally in a different place. And that's always what Disney has tried to achieve. I've never seen them achieve it more effectively than here. And the good news is right in the middle, so it's kind of like passing the castle in a castle park. You're going through there constantly, and it just is my favorite spot. And countless photographs that we've taken over the years of being there. The hallmark attraction inside is Journey to the Center of the Earth, again based on Jules Verne, and I've got a quick video that shows just a little snippet. Most of the ride is fairly slow, but the end kind of looks like this, and there's like 3 or 4 seconds of darkness, but you'll get the idea to give you a feel for it. The hidden Mickey and Indiana Jones, so it's right there. I'm proving that it actually exists and pointing to it. Next door is Raging Spirits, which is the same as the Temple of Peril, but not connected to Indiana Jones, even though it's next door to Indiana Jones. Can't explain it. Okay. Fantasy Springs, the newest area. This is what you're going to want to invest with Premier Access. Park admission is less expensive than what we're used to, and then it's a reasonable way, and it's the only way that you're going to get to experience. There's 4 new attractions. One is a more of a children's attraction that's based on Tinkerbell, but this one is the first one we went to. It's Peter Pan Neverland Adventure, and it's a little hard to see. You actually get into a pirate ship. It is 3D. It's a mixture of screens and so forth. It is fantastic. It's the original Peter Pan characters animated, and it also is one of those attractions that you think you're getting to the end and then there's more. And when we walked out there, said we got to do that again. It was fantastic. There is a Rapunzel's Lantern Festival. When you start off, Rapunzel is actually up there in the tower singing, and you can see it from the queue and even from the land area. But what you're really riding for on your boat is that. And again, all 3 of these major attractions here are unlike anything that we've ever done before. And then, of course, we have Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey. They have an entire land that they have created. Now, this one's a little fun because you've got the juxtaposition of the Fantasy Springs Hotel behind this. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I guess it works okay. The buildings here, very massive. It feels like you're in that land in like Norway. The attraction there is another boat ride, but every bit as compelling as what we have for Beauty and the Beast over at Disneyland. This is the #1 ticket at Disney Sea right now. People will do just about anything to get their premier access to be able to go on this. We missed it the first time, the first day we were there, and we went back and we were fortunate to be able to go in. And then the last 2 attractions I'll share with you, and we'll wrap up. Sinbad, the Voyage of Sinbad is a delightful boat ride on the story of Sinbad, who travels around the world. And it's got a great soundtrack that is memorable. It will replace It's a Small World in your head, absolutely. And then there's an entire indoor attraction area that is around the Little Mermaid, with some small indoor attractions, mostly family attractions, that, again, unlike anything else that you would have anywhere else. Disney Sea, favorite park, favorite Disney park anywhere in the world, and we don't own it and we don't operate it, but we did design it. I say we, our Imagineers designed it. I didn't have anything to do with it. They didn't ask me. But I really do think this shows what can happen when you make the investment. Oriental Land Company has never been shy about making the investment, and enables Walt Disney Imagineering to do everything they are capable of doing. And if I were to prioritize, if you had to see one of these parks, go here. It is absolutely unforgettable, and we said we were just there in March, and we can't wait to go back. As we've gone around the ship, some folks have been asking about Singapore specifically. This is up here, there's a lot here. If you want to take a picture of this, just zoom in, take a picture. We want to make sure that you have some things that we've enjoyed, and we would recommend somebody, if you're there for like 3 days before you board the Disney Adventure, or before you begin your trip elsewhere around the region, just some of the highlights that we love to have. Again, we're open to answering any questions about that. And then last, I know our time is up, special thanks. We've had Freddie that has been here every single day, Joshua, who makes sure everything works, others on his team that are up in the booth that are fantastic and make sure everything runs smoothly, and especially Lonnie, our new adopted daughter. I certainly want to thank Wendy, who's been through everything leading up to this. She was on the last cruise, and she's putting up with that. But she's the one that, hey, I was thinking about doing this or saying this, and then she's the one that tells me, no, you shouldn't do that. But thank you for that, and we love it so much. This brings us to the time. This is our 7th session. There is a Q&A. I thought it was at 2 o'clock. It's at 3 o'clock in the tube. If there's any other questions, anything that you would like to chat about, come on in, and I will do my best to answer. Be very, very relaxed and informal. But with this, I can't believe we've come to the end of our time together. I appreciate you all so much. Thanks to all of you for coming, and again and again and again. And this has made it fun for me. I hope it's been fun for you. Thank you very much.